Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes. Today, let's talk The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 14, First Impression Review. Now, before we get into this real quick, I do want to say, let me know if you like the afterthoughts or not. The end of Season 6 is upon us. We only got 2 episodes left, and I did the afterthoughts as just a test, because where I'm at now, the internet's bad, so yada yada yada. You guys know. Now, I'm moving into my new place. I'm getting my new home office all set up come June or July-ish. And it's already set. I just got to wait for the opening and then the time to move. Right now, it's not going to work. Anyway, with that being said, come Season 7, my reviews are going to be up on YouTube within an hour, probably, after the episode airs for the first time. Now, with that being said, that might change what happens with the afterthoughts. If you like it, you need to let me know now. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, because we don't just repeat the same stuff. We go in depth, and I try to pull fan feedback from this first impression review, whatever you guys comment here. And I'm going to try, if we keep the afterthoughts, I'm going to try to incorporate more fan feedback, maybe clips of people's comments and yada yada yada. But that's going to come in Season 7 when I have the office and a better setup and internet and everything. And my time, my schedule, the way it's looking, will be a little bit better for Season 7. So good things coming. Good things coming. And we're almost at 50,000 subscribers on the road to 100K. So we're almost halfway there. I think we need like 500 subscribers to go. So keep liking, keep favoriting, keep spreading the word of mouth. You guys are awesome. First thing I want to talk about is Abraham and Eugene. I just want to mention this briefly. We're going to go in depth again in the afterthoughts about the ammunition and how important that building is. I might even just make its own video. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Anyway, I like how Abraham and Eugene have this kind of fight and forgive relationship, or friendship, I should say. And I do like it. I do enjoy it. It could get a little repetitive and old because this is, not the first time we're seeing this, but I do enjoy it at the moment. However, they both can be dicks. They both, in this episode, said something where I was like, well, Abraham, that was a dick thing to say. But I understand where Abraham's coming from a little bit. But then Eugene, I was like, man, you're a huge dick right now. I hope you get in trouble. Which leads me to the most important thing I want to talk about. I believe Abraham didn't leave Eugene there. I believe, because keep in mind, he left first, and then he showed up behind the barrels. I believe Abraham left, stayed out of sight, and followed Eugene to make sure he got back safe. I strongly believe that. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong, but I think it played out like that, because if he left first, wouldn't he get to Alexandria first and never know Eugene was taken? So anyway, moving on to Daryl next. I thought it was hilarious when he said he didn't want to go down the tracks, and that because of Terminus. I was dying at that moment. But what was better, I think, is the fact that he decided to avoid the tracks. And I'm not saying he caused this, but he avoided the tracks. They made it there fine. On the way back, he's like, you know what, screw it. He went down the tracks, and sure enough, what happens? Denise gets popped on the tracks, and Dwight comes up. And they have that shootout. Now, going over the Dwight and the shootout real quick, I just want to say this. The actor playing Dwight has my full support. I think he killed it in this episode. Now, before I was slightly unsure where they were going to take the character and where they were going to take, or how they were going to develop his character. But now seeing him back, how he acted, and what a prick he is, and how he has changed, I really like what they've done with him, and I'm hoping we get some sort of flashbacks. I believe we will. It might not be till Season 7, but I think we're going to get some flashbacks. Now, listen, he had a good look, and this is something I've seen people comment on that they didn't like. Now, the reason I'm saying he had a good look is because this is the look I was arguing for. A long time ago, I did a video talking about how I hope they do not make his face too pink, too Freddy Krueger looking, yada yada yada. Put it this way, I think they did it very well, very realistic to what Burns actually looked like. And the eye too, the eye I love, because in the comics it works that he doesn't have an eyelid, but on the show I am loving how they have the eyelid, the eye area is intact, but it's still all burned and it's kind of like black and blue underneath the eye, or purplish. I just want to put that out there. I like the look, and I think the actor in the role is doing a standout job. I love it. Again, a lot of people say he's too skinny though, but I think that fits his struggle. I think, like, for example, we were joking around with the Ronnie Hayes for being Dwight. Listen, ever since I became a daddy, I packed on some weight. I think I'm like, I don't know, 210 pounds ish, between 205 and 210. Yes, I'm gonna make my fat ass do some jogging coming up. But yeah, I packed on a lot of weight. I'm usually 155, 165 back when I used to work out. I like to keep it nice and slim and athletic. However, when you get a kid, you fall apart. But yeah, if I was Dwight, right, it would not look as realistic, I think, for the struggle. Again, because I would have to lose weight, which I would have. Just saying, AMC, I would have. Like, fuck. But no, officially, I'm liking Dwight a lot. The shootout, though, the shootout was iffy, and this is something that I think they use close-ups to cheat their way out of unrealistic scenes. Did I say that right? Yes, I think I did. What I'm saying is, if you have the camera panned out, I do not believe you would have made a realistic shootout in this moment. And that's why I feel they chose to do close-ups, because it's easier to convey, oh, people are running here, oh, he's ducking and not getting shot. I mean, Daryl was literally a few feet away from him when shit popped off. Now, I know Daryl grabbed the one guy, slit his throat. He could have easily just cut Dwight's throat. I don't know why he didn't. But yeah, chaos did start up, and I do know they need Dwight, for the coming storyline, but you have characters running back, ducking behind cars, getting weapons. I know Rosita ran back to the tracks to get her gun. I believe, yeah, she did run. So yeah, I just think that they used the close-ups to get around some of the unrealistic setup and structure of the shootout. I could be wrong, but it just felt a little off to me. It felt like they were a little too close to have the shootout where Dwight made it unscathed. It would have been a little bit better, in my opinion, if when Dwight got bit and fell down, it was off the side of the hill, putting him out of eyesight. Because when he fell down, I know he was on the tracks, and it was like baka baka, and I know Daryl had, the AK, and those are like a pray and spray weapon, from what I hear. I've never shot one. So, okay, I could see that, but I'm just saying the scene felt a little iffy to me. Even rewatching it this morning, it felt like they cheated using close-ups. Now, since we're talking about Dwight, let's talk about his kill. I was liking Denise. I told you guys this a while ago. I started really liking Denise and the actress. I think she did a fantastic job, and it's sad to see her go. I think she could have done a lot more. However, I'm not complaining. I think it was a good kill. And I know a couple people are talking about how the kill had no reason. It does nothing for the story. I disagree. I think if we look deep, we can find a lot of reasons for it. My one reason right off the top of my head that I think is very clear and very important is I think killing Denise, and this is going out on a limb because I still feel like there could be a serious chance Glenn gets that death with Negan, but I think killing Denise might actually take Glenn out of the running for getting killed by Negan. Now you might be saying, man, Hayes, what are you talking about? Well, look at it. In the comic, Maggie and Glenn wanted to go to the hilltop. To sum it up simply, it was for safer community, less fighting. There was shit going on at Alexandria. They were about to go to war. I mean, it was like ducking out of that. And they had the baby and yada yada. Well, they had the pregnant Maggie and yada yada yada. Now with the TV show, the characters are a bit stronger so they can handle it. I do believe they started breaking down Maggie, and that works really well. But the biggest thing, Denise was the doctor at Alexandria, and now there's none. There's no doctors at all. So with Maggie's pregnancy, you are going to have to find a doctor, be near a doctor, especially later on in the pregnancy. If you have issues and problems that arise, difficulties, they might decide to go to the hilltop now to live because there's a doctor in that community. And I think that is something that's a really strong possibility that could pull Glenn out of the running for that death. Now, I'm not saying completely, because now when I talk over it, I do believe it's still possible that Maggie could want to go to the hilltop because there's a doctor there, and Glenn could get to death, and that could crush her and put her a little bit out of commission, but still play her role that they need her to play. So it is possible, but I think that with Denise's death, this will be their main motivation to go to the hilltop to live. Now, the difficulty in doing that, it's difficult to, in my opinion, get this version of Maggie and Glenn to up and leave their family, leave their friends. Now, something could happen to help push them to that decision, or we might see them come to that decision in season 7. It's very likely we don't see any signs of this in season 6, so we might just have to wait to season 7 to see them finally decide to make the move from Alexandria to the hilltop. Because again, I do not believe they're going to have the final showdown between, or not the final, the first appearance of Negan. I don't believe they're doing the same thing as the comic, where the Alexandrians, Rick and them, took a small group to go up to the hilltop for help. Before I thought they were going to do that, but now I believe they're going to do something a little different. So I do not believe Glenn and Maggie are going to want to live at the hilltop, and that's why they're in the van. I think they're doing something a little different there. Now, with Denise getting the bolt to the face, I did say this, that I did not see it coming, whoop-de-whoop, and I see a lot of people, tons of people saying, oh my god, we saw it coming a mile away. And I think people are misunderstanding what I'm saying. Prior to the start of this episode, when we were making our predictions, I did not see it coming for Denise. That is the point I'm getting across. Now, during the episode, it was clear as day. The moment that I remember, the first moment where I was like, shit, Denise is going to get the arrow. And that moment was her puking on her glasses. When she went to the car for the cooler, I was thinking, why is she doing that? Why would she do that? And then when she opened the cooler and found the crush, I was like, oh, the crush. But I made a joke to my cousin about her glasses, and I was like, did she pick up her glasses? And as soon as I said that, I thought, it's over. She's getting that bolt to the face. And then when they went over and Denise is talking, ever since the first word she said, where she stopped and she's like, are you stupid? I'm serious. Are you stupid? From that moment on, I was just waiting for the bolt to smack her in the head. So yeah, they did set it up. You do know what's coming at that moment, but there's a ton of shit that happens during an episode where at the beginning of the episode I could immediately be like, oh my god, there it is. That is, going to be in the end of the episode. That is what happens. But what I'm saying is I did not see Denise coming at all, as I'm talking about before this episode airs. Our minds work so fast, so when you're watching an episode, a lot of times there's something that can happen where you're like, oh my god, I see it coming. So to clarify, before the episode, I did not see it coming. But yes, for the million of people who were like, well, how did you not see that coming right at that moment? Yes, it was absolutely clear that she was getting the bolt. Right from the moment she puked on her glasses. You know what? Let me throw this in here. My TV cut out right at the end of this episode, so I didn't see... It stopped right at the last sentence that Carol said. And I've seen a couple people comment the same thing. If your TV cut out, what they showed was Carol saying, do not follow me, please. And then it zoomed in on Morgan, and he can hear the swinging. I'm going to discuss that again in the predictions video. But now it's your turn. Give me your thoughts and opinions about this episode down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.